Area. Hey, I throw a salute for una the ballet for una. In fact, my head they grand. They tell una say una too much. Una too much. Now welcome back again to Bod TV board, where we dey analyze the trends where they happen around, especially for our politics where they don't carry go another level because they think say that the mumu will be many years ago now we still be. Well, what it happen few hours ago, it not pass the one where channel television the internet wey in con talk say make it not be like saying na my word though, so I will just take am one after the other. He say nobody fit fight INEC. I can't say it is man dey talk so. Make I listen well, be like say my ear deaf. He say nobody fit fight INEC. We say because INEC na government. He say so if INEC talk say na A, they don't give am the absolute power. Say anything wey talk na fact. So when you want bring law and you want bring facts come out, he said the thing get us to be. He said so he don't see anybody they win this election tribunal. He said because there is no difference INEC and government. He said because anything way INEC talk, now government go take. Hey, my people, this one strong, this one hard gidigba. He said so the only way we the fit say win now be say if that constitution change, say INEC no get that absolute power to just stay talk something and I say it go be. Say that's the only way. I will play the interview from beginning to the end. We gonna listen because I understand where the man they go. The man talk plenty things. So in fact, he not support anybody. We're in day now the path of truth, and people like that I they hear them well. Now, secondly, she can talk say before I talk that she might talk article. Article can talk say this way Tinubu you're wrong. Come on, might give him some respect. President Tinubu. So if President Tinubu just wrong, come out. I've removed fuel subsidy. He said the just show say the man he say not the work. He said if na him, he said if na him, waiting him for do, now be say if for bring those palliative, he go bring to use the word alternative. It they make me they think say Nigeria get few years to live. So if I hear the word palliative, all right. So something we be say it go replace the fuel subsidy small fuel subsidy will come gradually come off for road. He says so in go fair introduce all those things come maybe people they park their car, they enter bus, they go all these buses, cheap buses, so they go far distance or train or tram, all those kinds of things going bring and command to take help the masses, bring electricity command to take help the masses so that in case you want to buy car, if you buy electric car, everywhere non electric car. If you buy electric car, you don't need. But thinking about it, you still need electric to take charge electric car. Abi, I didn't know. But everything most times you can't do without electric. You see, so now those things then go bring come out. Those one be the palliative we they talk of. The one you go substitute. We go they make person they go small. They give you hope. Okay, small. You see now those one go fair bring come out. You see, not the blunder way Tinubu go do. You see, Tinubu fully serve. Sorry, President Tinubu fully serve. See if now he go do better. Now this like come make sure he run come out to contact say well, make the hill, make PDP, make the hill, make the process, make the just take on gradually. And the words way they put out, the way they put out, me not blessing on my mouth. Now I talk the thing, it don't make sense. So he say PDP healing process must start now. So when he talks say PDP healing process must start now, it be like say our Dino can interpret to another level. Now the guy stand up. He say, hey, he said the only way PDP process must heal now make all governors, all senators, everybody they march they go tribunal. Make they know they talk say yes we are in support now enough on the house. He say mokuna march go tribunal, mokuna go see what una hide. Then 1 hour una still spend. He say mokuna go there. He said because the more that they see una presence for there, the more the healing go quick come. I be everywhere scatter. How Dino man the guy they yarn. So as he don't attack and finish, that one just come. Only know what bulu. So now this one can make me tie this whole story together. First of all, Femi talk say he vowed to challenge NAPC and Tinubu over the fuel subsidy. Make you watch all this video. Make you watch all this video. Make you not forget to share, like, and subscribe. This is Bod TV Bod. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.
Our country is too damaged to allow us time for more meaningless drama. Our nation needs us. History beckons. And I'm confident that our National Assembly members-elect, and indeed all our party leaders and members, will not disappoint the people of this country. Let me make a passing remarks on the announced fuel subsidy removal. Between 1999 and 2007, the PDP government initiated petroleum subsidy removal, and I chaired the committee. We achieved subsidy removal in 2 phases, but only after providing palliatives to those most affected by the subsidy removal. We have the experience as a party and government. That is what we would have done, and not just announce subsidy removal without discussion with the affected sectors of the economy. I think Nigerians should appreciate what they have temporarily lost. Thank you very much.
I would like to point something out. First, we went through a grueling election, and whether we want to admit or not, we have issues amongst ourselves during the elections, but you know what? The healing process will have to start, and the healing process will start now.
I just want to start by appreciating the comment of Governor Seyi Makinde this morning, particularly where he said healing starts now. And the way to start that healing is, I will be glad if between now, next week and 2 weeks that will be at the tribunal, to see Governor Seyi Makinde walk into the tribunal venue and sit down to support the party, our candidates, and to demonstrate to Nigerians that the party, the healing has started. To demonstrate to the world that PDP is united. That will show that the healing has truly started. And not just only Governor Seyi, any of our governors, it is time for us to take this tribunal seriously. We should allow only our lawyers to attend these tribunals. Please, if you find yourself in Abuja, you can stroll in and spend 30 minutes, 1 hour. Let the world know that there's a new PDP that is big, that is strong and reliable, and we are one indivisible party, and we are supporting this tribunal to take over power. The second comment, sir, the second one has to do with the tribunal at the state level. Both members of the House of Assembly, House of Reps and Senators, I want to appeal to our governors. The way you are taking your own tribunals seriously, I will appeal to you, sir, to take all our members of the National Assembly and the House of Assembly in tribunals. Take their cases very seriously. Take over their tribunals. Because if you are practically involved in those tribunals, we will win more seats.
I bring you warm greetings from the Labour Party and to thank the PDP because of you, we are here. If the PDP did not make the mistakes it made, probably the 35 strong member elect of the Labour Party in the coming 10th Assembly would not have been. So thank you.
There are 2 matters in the tribunal, the law matter and the factual matter. A tribunal judges on both facts and law. When it comes to facts, I will not talk. Because I never saw anything happen. I never observed anything happen. It is at the tribunal witnesses will come. So I cannot talk about facts, but I can talk about the law. So if any lawyer tells you, oh, the law is constant. If I tell you today there is a law in this, there is a matter in the Supreme Court that borders on this law, I'll be bold to tell you that this is the position of the law. Not only as laid down by the Supreme Court itself, but as laid down by the law. So when you ask me, what is my opinion? I have an opinion. I have always stated it. Number one, nobody in Nigeria, no party can win an election petition. Because the electoral law has made it so much that INEC has a presumption given to it by the law that whatever it does is presumed to be correct. Therefore, in any election petition, INEC only comes and says, yes, I have conducted the election according to the law, and tenders all the documents he used. At the stage he tenders those documents, the law says, yes, the law presumes that what you have tendered is correct. Therefore, the respondents, which is the defendants now, will now have to come to challenge. Number one, that law has to change. We have to change it in a way that we will say, INEC, the law says do this, come and show us that you did what the law says you should do. Rather, for the law to back you behind and say, yeah, what you did was correct. So that is the first. If that one is not removed, you will never win an election against INEC. Secondly, the two political parties that are challenging the election, I'm forgetting the facts. Some people were killed here, some people, no, that is not my concern. My concern is what are the legal basis upon which they are challenging. 3 areas. Tinubu is a crook, he was jailed. The vice president and Tinubu was nominated for 2 positions. Section something of the Constitution says if you don't get 25% in 2 states, in Abuja and the other state, you cannot be president. So these are legal points. So you and I can discuss that. Now the Supreme Court says, fortunately, they have given a judgment, which I said on television 3 weeks ago, that there's no merit. And to be honest, I cannot see why a lawyer should have brought. The Supreme Court has already said, look, a man cannot try to contest for 2 posts, senator or governorship, in any election. There was a case in which they said, if you do so, we will nullify it. The opposition today are using the other case where the Supreme Court said, if you do so, we will nullify it, without looking at the facts. In the case where the Supreme Court said, if a man is nominated for 2 positions, that case presupposes that a man should not be nominated. But in that case where the Supreme Court says, you are a fool, you should not have done, it was a case where 2 parties, 2 political parties, nominated 1 man for 2 posts. But in this case now, where a party nominates him, the Supreme Court has already said, look, if you are not a member of my party, what is your business bringing me? You are a busybody. So there are cases there for any lawyer to see. Now for the opposition now to be rushing to court, to be relying on the Supreme Court judgment that says 2 political parties cannot sponsor 1 person. But if 1 political party sponsors 1 person, then if you are not within that party, you cannot challenge. Well, I am not saying what you are telling me now is whether it's a pre-election or whether it's a post-election or whether it can be taken by the tribunal. Oh, no. My problem is that whichever time it's being taken, that issue can be taken by the tribunal. But on this particular occasion, the circumstances that are being used at the tribunal, to my understanding, is wrong. Shettima is only from APC, and it is PDP that is challenging him. Therefore, they are meddlesome, they are whatever the Supreme Court named them. So there is no merit in that argument at all. So in the four things that they are presenting, one, that Tinubu has been jailed, two, that Shetima could not have contested, and three, that Tinubu never had a true thought of Abuja. That is the contentious issue now before the tribunal. But when you look at the law, the Supreme Court, in 2 or 3 other cases that I'm aware of, says, look, Abuja is not a state under the Constitution, but we, Supreme Court, we accord it that status of a state. But in according Abuja the status of it, we are not going to give it any privileges. I think it's in the one of the Boris cases in the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court says, look, Abuja is Abuja. We will not impose any privileges because it is not a state, but we regard it as a state. Now the question is, Turenchi, as the Hausas will say, the use of and. You are now saying, this says, look, you must have 2/3 in 36 states and the federal capital. So depending on which divide you are, as I always say, if you are for the proponents, they will say yes. 25% must include and will include Abuja. But if you are a constructionist, you are following the mischief rule or whichever this thing, you will know. If a man has 25% in 36 states, but does not have in Abuja, you will now say you can't be president. Does that make sense? You know, many people will laugh at you. And this question of 2/3, we have to be careful. By dragging in Abuja now into 36 states, we now have 37 states. Can we ever have 2/3 of 37? So we have to be very careful. But my view is this. Reading of that section, looking at all circumstances in Nigeria, you must have 2/3, generally, of all the states plus Abuja. So the word and, whichever way the judges want to look at it, is, you know, their own headache. There are 3 stages. So even though the Electoral, the INEC is given the power under the Evidence Act to be given the privilege that is now enjoying, it now says, look, to be able to jettison a petition, 1, you must first show non-compliance. Non-compliance that must be very substantial. When you show it, you must now show that it affected the election. That is stage 2. The affectation on the election is that, oh, in what so and so, when votes were not cast, so many votes were lost there. In so and so, at the end of the day, you have to show to the tribunal how many votes were lost by your client due to those malpractices. Those votes must be so substantial that they must have affected the result of that election. So even though INEC has the privilege to have the backing of the law, it is still required to substantially produce evidence. So it is not all that difficult, but it is very rare. When you have 2 million people voting, and you have only 100,000 rioting here and there, okay. Your opponents will say, okay, I give you all those 100,000 votes. I'm still leading you by 2 million votes. So even if the tribunal says I was wrong here, how has it affected the election? So that is the position at the tribunal now. Whatever malpractices that have been recorded and are noted and are brought before the tribunal, it is not enough. They must go forward to show how it has affected the election.
Substantially the outcome of the election.
So you can see that it's a difficult task. Rather, change the law. INEC, bring your books here. I have done elections under the law. These are my books. Then you and I, who are opponents to INEC, will now come and say, okay, look at the one you have presented. Look at this, look at that. But now we have to wait 30 days. INEC must countersign. Look, that is the thinking of many people. And they are not far from being wrong or right. For instance, you heard me tell you that the Constitution has to be amended, whereby the party does not have the stronghold it has on candidates. Now, because of the Constitution that allows the party such powers, money now comes in. It's a do or die matter. Even in nomination alone, for a candidate to get nominated as a gubernatorial candidate, must have spent, you saw what happened. Buhari said, go and deposit 150 million. Yeah, you vice president, go and deposit 150 million and take a card. That is the party controlling. That's not the Constitution. The monetization of our electoral process is the cause of all the corruption. And if I were Tinubu today, oil subsidy, all these things, it's a, children's play. Fight corruption. Once you fight corruption, you will find that this country will change overnight. But the people who are to fight the corruption are the same people who are controlling the corruption. You can't change a bicameral system in Nigeria. Why do we need a bicameral system of governance in Nigeria? Senate, why? You and I are not eating well, and we are paying our senators so much money, our members so much money. What does it mean? The first thing I will do if I were Tinubu, set up a small group of committee. Just pick areas you want to touch in this constitution. Pick it up and change it immediately. Nigeria will change. It will reduce corruption completely. You see, the judiciary would have been ideal if not that politicians have now, filtered into them. So what we can do is to have what we call a constitutional court, where there will be a final court for political matters and constitutional matters. And the Supreme Court will be different from this court. You see, once you remove the influence of politicians from any area of human endeavor, forget judges, any area, 80% of your corruption problems are solved because politicians are used to corrupting people to gain what they want.
My understanding of what bring down the mic, the new president, so I do Bod Tv, the removal had not taken effect. But NNPC, Limited, the private company, was alleged to have fixed the prices of petrol. This is clearly, there's no provision for under the law. So we hope that the government will have to go back to the drawing board. The whole month, the month of June, to meet with relevant stakeholders, to plan and look for alternative solutions to the problem. And there are alternative solutions. We must learn from what other countries are doing to address the dollarization of economy. We cannot continue to dollarize the Nigerian economy. For instance, Kenya was spending $500 million a month to import petroleum products. That country entered into an agreement with Saudi Arabia to pay for importation of petroleum products in shillings, in the local currency of Kenya. And the agreement was allowed. Nigeria has a similar arrangement with China. China and Nigeria, 5 years ago, entered into a currency swap arrangement right? Whereby Nigerians will pay naira for goods bought in China, while China or Chinese business people will pay for goods in Nigeria in yuan. But the IMF and the World Bank frustrated the agreement so that our country will continue to depend on the American dollar. And we are challenging the government. Right now, countries that are members of the BRICS, you know what they call BRICS now, a new organization, constituted by Brazil, India, Russia, China, and South Africa. Those countries now trade among themselves in their own local currencies. And I have challenged Nigeria. You must join that body and take advantage so that this craze, this business of looking for dollars will be reduced.
Should the NSC go on strike today or declare a protest on strike today? Will it be a welcome idea?
You will have to ask the NSC because they are holding a meeting and that decision has not been taken. As a lawyer, I don't engage in speculation.
Yes.
I deal with facts.
Yes, by saying that NLC, a private company, has declared a new price.
That's going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged.
Can you say it's illegal?
It is illegal. It's not whether I can say. If you have no power to carry out an action and you do so, then it's illegal. And we're challenging NNPC. Let us know the law that allows you to jack up the prices of petroleum products.
So should we be looking at it becoming a legal matter?
It's going to be legal and political. Yeah, both political and legal.
The Bod TV board. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.